Oh, I put the hearts upside down. Hello, it's CraftyRia, and I am so glad you are joining me today for card sketch number 25. This one I want to give special thanks to Laura Peters. She is a member of my Facebook group and posted a card that used this design, and I asked her if I could make a sketch from it, and she graciously said yes. So I did so. I made a sketch, and I'm not sure if my measurements are exact, but that's okay because that's the beauty of it. You can do whatever you like for sizes. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out. And this is based on a card, an A2 size card, which measures a 4.5 by 5.25. And I did not measure each thing because I don't think it really matters. So I have two card bases as usual, cut from just regular office supply cardstock. I fold the paper in half and I cut it in half. And I have a couple of dies. They are from this set of stitched circle dies. I think I got it on AliExpress or Wish or something like that. I don't exactly remember where I got it. And I'm going to be doing a Christmas card, a recycled Christmas card, and a regular card using some things that I got in Happy Mail. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's do the Christmas card first. I picked this card because I thought this design would look good as the focal image there. Now this is a little bit bigger than that circle, but I did find this circle die cut. I think that would cut it out perfectly to use on the card, and it would be pretty big. It will take up most of the card, but that's okay. And I think for the bottom here, I might use the word peace going across the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this card apart very carefully. Move that off to the side. I'm going to cut the front of the card off first. And I will cut the sentiment out of the inside. This is a card that my mother-in-law sent us. And I don't know when she sent it, what year. There we go. So we have the sentiment from the inside. And before I die cut that circle, I think I want to carefully cut this word peace out. So I am going to cut it on the bottom part of the word peace, and then as close to the top of the word peace as I can. I want to leave enough room for that die cut circle, and there we go. So we have the word peace, and I'm going to leave both ends of it on now because I'm not sure how small I want to cut that. Alrighty, and then I'm going to take my big die cut circle and I'm going to put it on here. There we go, and it will still work around that dove, so that is fine. And while I'm at it, I'm going to cut just a regular circle out of this gold, yellow gold shimmery paper for the other card. I might as well get two things cut out at once. Let me get my die cutter. And I have on here a piece of painter's tape. It's a low tack tape. And I like it so I can line up my die on whatever image I'm cutting out. I'm going to rip this piece in half. Now you can buy a fancy purple tape for scrapbooking or crafting that is also a low-tack tape. I think the blue painter's tape works really well. You can get it at any hardware store or Walmart or anything like that that sells painting supplies. It's readily available, usually in the hardware or paint department. And if you think it's too sticky, if you're going to be using it on a fragile piece of paper, go ahead and stick it on your clothes first and then pull it off, and that'll take some of the tack away. So I'm just going to set this on here and run it through my die cutter. This is the Big Shot by Ellison. And then I'm going to just cut this one out as well. This one doesn't have to be taped down since there's no image that I'm cutting out. Now normally I do this on a table without a mat because the mat tends to slide around. Okay, so I will set this piece aside for the other card. And I have the bird. Carefully take off that tape. It does seem to stick a little better once it gets smashed down in the die cutter. So we have that image, and I think that looks really good. It has the stitched edge, so it just adds a little bit of interest. So we have piece, we have my sketch, my card base. I got a piece of gold metallic paper just in case I needed it. I thought it went pretty well with that. I'm not sure if I'm going to need that. And I picked out some pattern paper that's not necessarily traditional for Christmas, but then again, neither are the colors in here. And I thought it went really well with this paper. I'd received this in Happy Mail, and then also that looks really good. So I'm going to do the background of the card in this, since this is, I think, too white to put against the white background. So let me go ahead and cut these two pieces. My little die cutter, and I need to cut it at 4 1/4 or 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. This paper has some wrinkly edges, so I'm just going to trim off the very edge. And these are hearts. I don't know if you can see, but I want to make sure they are going in the right direction. So I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4 this way. And then 5 3/8. And that will be the background of this card. The mat, yep, that looks perfect. I will set those aside. And then I need to cut this piece here. And it is about 2 inches. I can just kind of tell from my mat. So I'm going to cut a 2-inch strip of this. And that is about, I'm just going to line it up on my mat and measure maybe 5 1/4. And let's see how that looks on there. I might want to make it a little smaller. I'm going to make it 5. So I have that piece there, and this. This will go here. And then the word peace will go down here. I think that looks really, really cute. Sorry, I wasn't in frame there. Okay, I'm going to cut off a couple of these, the edge on either side. There we go. Now let's go ahead and just put this card together. I'm going to use my tape runner since the paper is pretty thin. If you don't have a tape runner, I also use Elmer's glue, but for thin paper, very, very super thin paper, I would recommend a glue stick instead. Or, you know, of course the tape, but if you don't have the tape, you could use a glue stick. And then I will put this piece there. If your paper is a cardstock weight, you know, a little bit thicker, then the liquid glue is fine. Oh, I put the hearts upside down. Well, I'm going to save the day. I have another card base, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this out right along the red line so the white line does not show, because I put it on upside down. And I can use this piece as a scrap for something else. This paper's too fragile to take apart. Okay, so now I want to make sure I glue this down correctly with the hearts the right side. They are so small. There we go. And now I will put this down. And then I will put this here, kind of towards the top. Let's see. That will be very good. And I will go ahead and just adhere this down. And I'm going to use glue on the back of this little guy. I'm almost out of tape in my tape runner. This is Elmer's glue, and I put it in an old art glitter glue bottle with the fine metal tip. There we go. And there is that card. I think it came out really, really cute. So pretty. I love the way the colors go together. So I challenge you to make a Christmas card with non-traditional Christmas colors. All right, so that is that card. I will put that aside. And let's go ahead and do the second card. It's also going to be in very bright colors. I have my card base, the circle I cut out, And I found this in my stash. It is a clear sticker, and it's on a clear background. I peeled it off the back to see how it would look on this by itself, but if you put it on anything but white, it mutes down those colors since it's clear. So I'm going to do something a little bit special. I have this piece of paper. It was a nice scrap drawer, and it was from Happy Mail. So I thought that would be the piece going down the side, and I would have that like that with this design on there. And I had this piece of bling. It is one solid, I believe it's one, yeah, it's one solid piece, which I absolutely love, and I would love to grab a whole bunch more. And I thought I would just put that across the bottom. Oh, and I have this piece of blue shimmery paper. I got this both of these papers from BB Craft, and they are called metallic papers. They're not really metallic, they're more of a shimmer, and I thought I would use that as the base in the back. There we go. All right, and so we would have it set up like that, and I think that looks really pretty. But first thing, I have to mount this sticker on a piece of white cardstock. And I'm going to use my bone folder to burnish it down just to make sure there aren't any bubbles or anything. And this was just a piece of white from my scrap drawer. I thought this was a really neat image. So I'm going to go ahead and use my little baby cutter bee scissors, and I'm just going to fussy cut the edge. All right, there we go. And I cut it out, leaving a little bit of the white border around so it would pop a little more on here. And I think that looks really, really cute. I'm going to go ahead and adhere it onto here. I think what I will do is use some foam tape and raise it up a little bit. There we go. I think that's really cute. And this time it's a little smaller than that circle, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece down. I'm going to mark it back here about where I want it with purple. Do you know why with purple? Because purple's the best color. Actually, I had the purple handy, so it made it easy. All right, so here we go. I think that looks really cute. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down on here. I don't know how much of my tape I have left, but I will use it up until it does not work. There we go. And sometimes you can get a little extra out of that last piece, but sometimes not. That's okay. I have Elmer's glue to the rescue. And I will refill my glue gun after. And then I will adhere this over here. Again with my Elmer's. I think I need to refill my bottle. I have a huge, huge thing of Elmer's. And if you're getting the Elmer's, be sure you get Elmer's Glue All instead of school glue. The school glue is way different. And the school glue is, I think, thinner and it will warp your paper. And then I will put that there. And I will say the Elmer's is much faster and less clunky to use than the tape gun. It also doesn't make nearly as much noise. And then I will put this here. Let me see where I want to cut it. How about right there? And I'll save that other piece for another project. I love these strips. I would love to get some. I don't know where they came from. There we go. Now that card is done. And I forgot to put the sentiment on the inside of the other card. So I think what I will do is mat it on this gold. I have a piece of this left over, but then the hearts would be sideways. But I don't think you'd really notice that much. I'm going to do that with sideways hearts. That's a good way to use up this little scrap. And it just kind of looks like an abstract design around the edge. Someone may notice that it's hearts that are sideways, but maybe not everyone will notice. Let me make sure it's the right size. No, I do need to trim it down some. It's very wide. Too wide for the card. Let's see if that will fit. Yep, that will fit. And again, a little bit more Elmer's. And the secret to the Elmer's is to use the fine metal tip. If you don't have an old art glitter glue bottle or another bottle with a fine metal tip, they do sell them on Amazon in these really small bottles that you can buy, like a pack of 5 or something. And they have a small tip and they usually have a cap that goes right on it. So that will work. There we go. So we have both cards made from card sketch number 25. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below which card you like the best. If you haven't yet joined my Facebook group, you can head on over there. I do post all of the card sketches in an album there, and you can play along and post your creations there as well for all of us to see. It's a whole lot of fun. You can post all of your work over there if you like, and if I see a card that I like, I might just ask you if I can use the design as a card sketch. If you have any ideas for a card sketch, please email them to me or hook up with me on Facebook. Either way, my email is in the description box below. I would love to share your ideas as well. And you can use my card sketch and share it online. Just be sure to link back to my video or my YouTube channel when you do so. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you very much. And until the next video, you know what to do. Go get crafting. Bye-bye.